Hello friends, welcome to channel Reza Blade. I'm your friendly neighborhood Reza and I make nail art product review videos, technical tutorials, I teach tips and tricks, and I do more. I do various things and I think you will enjoy this particular video and in greater scope my channel. So do like this video if you enjoy it. I want to hear your comments below about whether you enjoyed my manis. I've still got my, multiple health issues, infections and stuff going on. It's a never-ending wheel of fun. So anyway, but I really am excited about this video. Today I'll be reviewing the December Mani by Me box. This one, I can't remember whether it's called Myth and Magic or Mythical Creatures. But this one is right in my wheelhouse, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So I will have, speaking of explaining things, I am so sorry this has taken me so long. There's a little thing called scope creep, which if you've been watching my Mani by Me videos for a while, you'll notice that they keep getting a little bit more encyclopedic in nature. I've done 3 manis for this one, okay, and 10 swatches of nail art, and then of course I've also done the swatches on paper as along with comparison swatches on paper for the various teal and gray polishes I have from Maniology. It's just so much. So hang in with me. I have a lot to tell you, and I think you may learn something today. And if you don't learn something today, and you already know all this, then I think you'll enjoy this video anyway, because of our little myth and magic topic. So I have the traditional swatches, nail art, the manicures, and I have a Maniology ambassador code. It's Reza10. And I don't get many sales on it, but if I do get a buck or two from Maniology, I put it all back into products for this channel, which is not monetized. So I hope they don't make any of you watch commercials. That would actually really make me mad. There will be more photos on my Instagram, including, me wearing the manis with a little bit of Photoshop magic done on my hand infection so that you can't see this whole part of my finger. Anyway, my morale is low on that particular front, so I won't talk about it again. I already said if you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment for me. And what's in the box this month? So many mythological creatures. They combine really well, actually. So we've got 2 plates, MXM069 and 070. That's kind of normal. They'll have the MXM plates or the ones that are Mani by Me box, okay? This is from a collab Maniology did with Claire Stell 8 way back in the day. I don't know if she's back on Instagram. I know that she had to take some time out. She's one of my favorite nail artists. Even if she's not still posting on IG, she's certainly worth a follow to go look through her stuff, and just in case, cross your fingers that she'll post someday again. So if you see this particular image here with the dragons and the mountains, I actually use the same mountains for my desert scape for the Lamia, which is a fun evil creature. Anyway, but you'll see there are lots of apropos, like this particular background here would really work well with this little elf or pixie or gnome, depending on what your interest or what your term for her is. I don't know, what would you call her? I say elf or pixie because of the pointed ears, but I mean gnome works too, although gnomes are having a moment and I'm so excited about it. So anyway, and then of course I also used the New York skyline, New York City skyline, where my mom and all my family on my mom's side is from. A few of them live on Long Island, and a bunch of them live in Manhattan and Brooklyn. So anyway, but I did put a dragon in New York City, so that'll be fun. But look at all these backgrounds. This is kind of a must-have for me. If they have it at Maniology, I would really recommend getting it. Landscapes, if you've been with me for a long time, are kind of something that I do. It's one of my really kind of favorite things to do, which is probably why I had so much scope creep on this. Things kept getting bigger and bigger with more projects and more projects. So What comes in the box this month besides these awesome plates, which I will show you in a minute? I think I'm probably going to show you the swatches because it might be easier for you to pick out the images on my paper instead of being forced to look at the reflective stainless steel or whatever this particular material is. So the two polishes. I think this is funny because if I recall correctly, either a year ago in December or a year before that, I think we also got teal and gray, but I might be wrong. Anyway, you'll see how this teal has a pink flash to it, but that doesn't really show up in the stamping polish when you use it just to stamp little images, as far as I'm concerned. So the teal one is called Whimsy, and the gray one is called Folklore. For every month, they do tell you, they select kind of topical names for these. And I've gone way off my notes, so I don't have a script, but I do sometimes have little notes for myself to remember what to say. And I haven't even explained why I know so much about myth and magic, besides being a D&D player. Anyway, so what else is in the box? Well, these, and I'm going to talk to you only about this at the front of the video. This detail brush fine art set must have. I mean, I've got a couple of 00 brushes. That's the tiniest fine detail brush. I can't actually see those at the front of my big brush cups. So I guess I won't show them to you right away. Actually, I think this might be one, but I haven't used it for a while. Anyway, this one's from Lantern and Wren, and it's a 00. They probably acetoned off the label, which I do. I do that stuff. So anyway, but these are great. They're cute. It looks like the ends are maybe an acrylic, some sort of plastic anyway. And they have the Maniology name on them. And they are tiny for nice little details. So some people use dotting tools. I'm a big brush person unless I'm like trying to remove a tiny little thing off my stamper and it's right by the real whole image that I want to keep there. I'll go ahead and use a small dotting tool, but I use a lot of brushes. I do a lot of gradients. It's one of my favorite things to do. So these are really good for that, if you're painting in gradients when you're reverse stamping. So anyway, that is one of those things. And then I will show you the plates. So, so many mythological creatures. I'm so excited. So I'm very excited about this plate, particularly because I was a double major with mythology and comp lit in college. So this is right up my knowledge. I mean, up my alley. The other thing I was thinking of. So here's Folklore. And then the closest gray I have to that is Storm Cloud. And then here's Chromo, which is like a dark pewter, very dark pewter. You can't really see the metallic nature of Chromo on the bottom, but you can see how it goes. They're pretty close. It's up to you. But I do like to add Folklore and Whimsy to my stash. So here's Prana, which is from one of the, was it Boutiques or I don't remember exactly which box it was that Prana came in. But here's Teardrop, which is a much darker polish. So I put Whimsy right by Prana so you can see the closer ones. Prana is metallic, entirely metallic. Whimsy is not. It has a pink flash, but that pink flash isn't really overwhelmingly obvious on when I'm just stamping with it. So there's Whimsy again, and this one's called Glass Slipper. That's a little closer to Teardrop. It's got like more blue in it, and this is kind of greener, along with this one, kind of greener. So that's my comparison of the colors. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a lot about these little images, just so you can Google grab images if you want to sort of copy what they might look like when illustrated, or you can just use your imagination, because this whole plate set, this whole box is about use your imagination. So you do what you want. I'm just going to give you a bunch of options. So hopefully that will be nice. So what I've done with my swatches here is I have put the creatures or the peoples or whatever in their natural environments. So within their particular geosystem, right? We have, let's see, here is the multi-finned sea monster, great sea serpent. Now, there are a few different Gaelic terms for this. I know that the Irish Gaelic is called bled mal, B-L-E-D-M-A-L-L. And Irish Gaelic is so hard for me to pronounce usually, but that is actually pronounced bled mal, so at least as far as I know. The Manx and the Scots Gaelic are a bit harder for me. So there's Bisht Kion, I'm sure that's wrong, with a K for Kion and ending in an E. And then the Scots Gaelic is Kieran Cron, which was said by a Scotsman, but I don't know if he knows exactly how that's said. So, but I did watch a YouTube video. So could this be Nessie? I don't see a resemblance. It could be wrong, but the great winged multi-fin sea monster, great sea serpent, those are good options. And I did a Mani with him in it. So here we've got the Kraken, or at least an incarnation of the Kraken. Some people see it as a squid, but in general, it is a giant cephalopod that lives at the big bottom of the sea. So if you believe that this is a giant sea serpent, then the Kraken is pretty giant too when you look at the scale. So here's a mermaid. This one is a merhorse. It's also called a hippocampus in Greek myth. This, I don't know what it is. I looked at it, I don't. These guys on this side and over here, I don't know if you've ever seen the Submariner's badge. You can look it up. The dolphins on the Submariner's badge are fish dolphins, like stylized fish dolphins from, like, I think maybe even Renaissance. But they're not the dolphins that we know that you get to swim with and that are very naughty and do a lot of violence. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Here's a shark chatting with the merhorse maybe. We've got some corals, some bottom of the sea images. We've got a big rock, I think, with some algae sort of hanging off there and some flying fish or whatever. Maybe this one is just a bird, but here's kind of an Asian-inspired sun, I thought. But a lot of these images are Western or Occidental mythology, but there are a couple from the Far East, so... anyway, so here we have a forest scene. We have a pool scene that's in moonlight. I don't know why anyway, whatever. That's another stamp of the forest theme. Here we have a moon on the shore, tide coming in maybe. Here's some fairies. And what on earth is that? Oh, here's a unicorn. Very heraldic looking unicorn. It's got a torse on it, I think. T-O-R-S-E, that's just a heraldic kind of flourishy thing that they usually put on helmets. So anyway, we have a flying fairy. We have another fairy with wings. We have, well, I don't know. This girl is an elf or a pixie. I talked to you about that. But if I'm dealing with this lady, then she is a forest nymph, or where'd she go? Forest nymph, where'd you go? Oh, okay. So she's holding what I think is a fox. I colored in as a fox. Those four things at the bottom there are her cloven hooves, I believe. So she's a forest nymph, a horn goddess, lady of the wood. I think those look more like kind of deer antlers than she would have if it's a satyr, if she's a satyr or a satyr. But I don't know. You know, use your imagination with this stuff. I'm not being proscriptive about it. Yeah, the artistic interpretation of the creature is paramount. So do with these magical creatures what you will. So this one I thought was maybe a Pacific Northwest beastie called like a Yakima witch or the owl witch. kind of transforms back and forth. But her face kind of looked like Chitara from Thundercats, which I grew up with, from a distance. But the closer she gets, you can really kind of see that's a beak on her face. At least I think so. To me, I thought maybe this one was an anthropomorphic phoenix. We've got a couple of feathers flying off. If you have another idea, tell me. I would love to hear. This one is really interesting. This horned mermaid, or what else? With the mer dragon, or maybe this is just a strange hippocampus. But you can see these are two creatures together, because here's his body, or this one body, and then here's her body. This might be inspired by the symbol for Capricorn. I don't actually know. So, what else? So a mermaid, that's what a mermaid looks like. If you have a mermaid with two tails, that's a Melusine, at least in old heraldry. I think Starbucks calls their two-tailed mermaid on their logo a siren, but I called it a Melusine. Melusine with the long U, I think. Anyway, so with the giant cephalopod, let me know. If you watch Doctor Who, does that remind you exactly of the face of an ood? Because I feel like I could alter this stamp to make an ood for a Doctor Who Mani. That would be a lot of fun. So what else did I tell you? What else do I need to tell you? I think I told you everything on this particular plate. You'll see these backgrounds. I love this woods in the night with the full moon. That's just so great. And here's a little grotto kind of cave, coral reef kind of area. I used all this, so you'll be able to see. On M070, we have, don't forget these little flourishes all over the plate, especially like, look at with the dragons, and then with the Maleficent based, at least that's what I assume, is she's Maleficent based thing, flourishes there. You can use that on its own too, maybe as a French tip mani or whatever. Here, this cave is where I put Cerebrus. I can spell it, but I can't say it. Anyway, also, so I talked to you, did I talk to you yet about centaurs versus satyrs? So we've got a couple of, oh goodness, where did I restamp those? There we go. Is this a centaur? Is this, oh goodness, like a fawn. This looks like it's you know, a human upper body, but it looks like it's got deer parts. So I did not look that one up. So that's my feeling. Of course, the Cerebrus down here is the three-headed guard dog of Hades. I think this is probably a werewolf. You can tell me if you don't think so. This is the many-tailed fox, or a kitsune from Japanese mythology. They are always illustrated white as far as I have seen, but let your imagination take you on a trip. You can make that whatever you want. Same with the dragons. We've got this dragon, and then we've got a couple more dragons over here. And then here is Maleficent, and I did her. Did I do a re-stamp of her? I don't think I really got her that great. Anyway, but it looks like these are wings, and then there's a brocade skirt. Looks like she's got a chemise underneath her belt. Or maybe this is all her overdress. It's also called a kirtle, maybe, depending on what period this is in, like, you know, comparatively. Oh, and this headdress is either horns, could be horns, but it's also, to me, it looks like a stylized 15th century divided hennin. A divided hennin is also called a double hennin, and I wish I had restamped that because it's a little bit blurry there. Very fashionable hat in its time, and she's clearly dressed very richly. So I told you about the European-style dragons. The Echidna versus Lamia, I don't actually know. So here's where the Lamia kind of differs. She's clearly got Gorgon-like hair, like snake hair. At least some of it's snake hair. And then her bottom is a snake. The upper body of a woman and the bottom as a snake is an evil creature called a Lamia. That's fine. Lives in the desert, cave, you know, eats people. Not a nice person. But in general, I don't really usually see them with hair like that. So, but it's not a gorgon because gorgons have wings, as far as I remember. So here we have, could be the Lord of the Wood, Minotaur, Dark Lord from Legend, because you got to love the Golden Age of Curry. Maybe you want to do that. But also, the horns are a tad on the ginormous side. So I think that rules out a satyr or fawn. So I don't quite know exactly, but he's very clearly a tough character. This, I don't immediately know what that is, just because I haven't been able to figure out what is arching over there. I mean, does that have a human head? And is that a chimera? No, it's not a chimera. Anyway, so here we have what I would call as a D&D player a draconian lady. I don't actually know what she's called in myth, but here we've got kind of, I think, a better... Oh, I didn't look this one up, and this is actually one that you guys might know too. Griffin? No. Anyway, I should know this one. I really should. So, bad Reza. I should know that one off the top of my head. So, here's a stump in the middle of the woods. So maybe the Lord of the Woods would be there, would hang out there. Here's some mountains and a kind of a marble hall, maybe. Greek style or Roman style, depending on, you know, when it is. And yeah, that's it on that side. And then I showed you the cave, and here's the floating castle on a big rock. It's got it's got a dragon here. There's also a tiny dragon up at the top, but the image cut off. And then that, I don't actually know exactly what that is. It looks like there's some sort of arch there, flowers maybe, leaves, vines, I don't know. But I think that'll do us for the explanation of the images. I apologize if that went on and on and on, because we're at 22 minutes already, so I'm sorry. I guess you could have fast forwarded through that. So here we go. Let me try to really race through this. I used a Japanese fan image from a Moyu London plate with the Kitsune image. Really enjoyed that one. If you remember my little elf with her elfin ears, here she is. And I painted in that background with reverse stamping. Also, here is my dragon in New York City. I really liked the way that one turned out. Here's our Lamia, or Echidna, depending on what she actually is. She's in the desert at night, and that bottom pit is supposed to be from that cave image I showed you. So, I don't know. That one's okay, but not one of my favorites. Here's the hippocampus. And I did some sponging with different colors there. Here is the great big cephalopod at the bottom of the sea. I used my galaxy technique here, where you kind of sponge on a little white over the background, which is a black polish with some big green glitters in it, and matte glitters that are circular. Anyway, so, and then you dry brush a bright color, and I dry brushed it in like a neon green kind of. And then I colored in the cephalopod with a bit of a kind of a gradient from green to white to make him look kind of scarier, I guess. I don't know. Here's Cerberus in Hades, guarding the gates of hell. I like the way that one turned out. And then here's the... I don't think this is La Lechuza. That's another option, but La Lechuza actually transforms into an owl with a woman's head, tiny little head. So, but I like the way that one turned out. And then here we have my version of Maleficent. Hope you like that one. And then finally, here's my forest nymph, perhaps, female satyr, in a very green scene. So now let me show you, these two are the plain naked swatches for how well they swatch for the stamping polishes. We've got, this does show up on black. And not, I mean, not wildly amazing, but it is definitely a serviceable polish for black. This is better on the black. There we go. But also, of course, they're both great on the white. And here's using them as polishes. I did do one coat with a couple of touch-ups. You know how you can put an extra brush here or there. So, and I still can't really see the pink flash here, so, but maybe you can. Anyway, so I'm sorry for telling you all those extra things. Here are the manis, and then I'll go ahead and sign off. So, yeah, thank you for joining me today. What was your favorite thing? Here are the manis. I did this kind of horse, I mean, the great finned, multi-finned sea serpent and a bunch of other stuff. And there's the bottom, which I did kind of a gradient with for the mermaid and her little dolphin friend. Here's the big rock. I don't know. I got kind of goofy with that one. This particular polish I used a lot of. This is the Polish Gamers box. It opens tomorrow, and it's open December 15th through the 20th for 2021. And this is called Valfreya, and that is by Nevermind, of course. This one is also based on God of War, and this is like lava in glow-in-the-dark. Like it's this deep, like beautiful, bright orange red. I can't get it to photograph very well yet in the dark. I'm going to try again today. So here's my Dragonscape. You can tell I probably spent a while on these. So the base is a gradient. The top is a duochrome. And then some different colors beneath it. And then I colored in all these little things. That's what I did. I used that extra Claire Stella 8 plate for this particular palace and these mountains. So I hope you like them. There are a bunch of dragons, and I really like this pinky nail where I put the dragon in the sun or moon or whatever it is. So here's the first one I did for these. This kind of lattice work. This is actually from one of the first 5 plates I got like 5 years ago. They are not available anymore. They were just some random backless plate from eBay, China, whatever. But I did really enjoy doing this one. I did kind of like a white and pink and kind of a silvery blue color scheme with various colored in fairies. And that's what I did. If you enjoyed it, sorry for the length here, but there's just so much creativity to share with you today. What did you buy Black Friday? I bought 1,000,000 scraper cards. That's what I did. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Tell me, please leave a comment below. Tell me if you enjoyed any of these looks, if you're looking for any help with recreating them. There's so much to explain. I will be back as soon as I can. Do be kind to yourselves and subscribe. It really helps me out. Like the video. And here's a big old sign off from Reza. Bye-bye.